It took me a while to finish this fourth book in the Sanity series by Christopher Ruocchio. This is Kingdoms of Death. Not because it was bad, but because it was painful for the protagonist, Hadrian Marlowe, but also for me as a reader. I would say that this is grim, dark fantasy with a lot of spiritual themes, and it's very rewarding, especially since everyone who has come to this book has probably read the other four books here. And that is Empire of Silence, it's Howling Dark, it's Demon in White, and it's The Lesser Devil. It will obviously be some small spoilers here. I will try to keep it quite spoiler free, but I can't um, do that. So you will hear a lot of things that has happened in the earlier books. Because as we know, Hadrian up to this point has, especially initially when the journey started, followed his heart. Followed his heart, meaning he has protested against the old family values. His father wanted him to do one thing, he didn't want to do that. He wanted to become a scholiast. He has you could say, a father figure in Thor Gibson, which has been more important to him than his father. He did that choice, doing other things, and because of that, he was expelled from his family. He had to restart from the beginning, at the bottom of society. He came in contact with becoming a gladiator, working at the Colosseo or the Colosseo, where he met a lot of friends, which follow him up until this day, and also other friends he made because of this journey, because he was very convinced that he could make peace with this alien race called Cielcin, and Cielcin is the very evil ones in these books, and they wage war against men. But he thought maybe he can make peace, so that was the focus is in the second book, to make peace, and we know that this fails, and we know that he gets into war or fighting with them, and he gets this half mortal title, and that creates a lot of envy within the empire, and he also gets the missions he has to do from time to time. So this is not the journey that Hadrian expected. It becomes something very, very completely different for him. And that is a theme running into these books of regret. Did he do the right decisions, or and does he is it morally correct to do that in relation to his friends, because he uses them as pawns? Maybe you can think that, at least. And he also has a conflict with his family, especially with his brother. And was that right or was that wrong? He has a lot of moral choices that he ponders upon, which is connected to strong Christian themes, I would say, connected to morality. In this book, Hadrian is very early imprisoned. He's assigned to a mission with the Lothrian Commonwealth, but that is a huge mistake doing so. And he gets imprisoned by the Cielcin prince called Syriani Dorayaka. And that will become a very, very painful part for him, and a painful part in this book. Can make it slow, but it adds a lot to the story, I suppose. I am very curious on continuing on reading Ashes of Man. I think that Ruocchio's emotions is good. He's writing when he writes emotions. The emotions is on the paper. I can feel Hadrian's pain when I read. I can feel his regret. I can feel his anxiety. I can feel he's crying. I can hear when he's crying. I can really feel when he has a slight amount of hope in this book, which is not much. But then he usually becomes disappointed because things happen here. That is not good for him, of course. The psychological torture, I would say, in this book is the main theme. There are genocide-like crimes, or I would say genocide, hideous crimes in this book. which he gets to see. And I suppose he gets very traumatized. I mean, he will get that from these experiences. It's interesting to see how that continues into The Ashes of Men. And there is a lot of, I mean, in the end, because usually the Sanity books are very, maybe a bit, not cliche, but you can I get this Mass Effect feeling of Sanity with a philosophical aspects, and we have the mythological aspect, which is connected to mostly Roman Empire, but also the Greek, the ancient Europe. A lot of that things is gone in this book. It's just focused on his torture. It's also the relationship with him and the language, because it's especially Empire of Silence. It's very focused on the language. But this is, you don't feel that. It refers to language from time to time, but it's not like the beginning of Empire of Silence, which is also very linguistic science fiction, I would say. Now we're in some very different domain. Because of his choices, maybe, what do you think? He's been put in this very tragic situation where he gets tortured. And from a moral perspective, I think you can discuss and think about if he made the wrong choices in the beginning. He didn't follow his family's advice. He would probably not have been in this situation. We don't know, because we don't know how everything else would have been developed. Is this a kind of punishment? I get the feeling of Golgotha, you know, the road in the Bible where Jesus walks during the Easter and gets punished before he's crucified. I get that strong feeling of his story that is a bit similar to that. It would be very interesting to talk with Ruocchio about that if he has time. I've interviewed him already 2 times on the channel. Let's see if it can become a third one. So all in all, I would say that I can't say I enjoy the book. I think it fit perfectly into the Sanity saga. I think it elevated the book from a literary standpoint, because before it was only sci-fi fantasy entertainment, more or less, with this philosophical lens and spiritual lens, which is very important to me, as you know. But with this book, it raised the bar of what it can become. So I have high expectations for the coming books. If you have read Sun Eater up to this point, what were your thoughts? Did you like it? Was it painful? Was it tough to finish, for example? Did it go slow for you as it did for me? Tell me. But as I said, because of this epicness, this book makes sense. And it's a very harsh punishment for Hadrian, if it's true, because he is the unreliable narrator. As you know, I'm reading the Book of the New Sun as well, the Claw of the Conciliator, and there is obviously references to the Book of the New Sun, especially in the endings of every book. There is this section where he ends the book, and that is extremely similar to the Book of the New Sun. But let's see what happens. So that was my thoughts on Kingdoms of Death. I'm curious to hear yours. If you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. If you like Sun Eater, you have more reviews here on the channel. There is a list for Sun Eater, and as I said, 2 interviews with Ruocchio. So thank you so much. See you very soon. Enjoy. Have a nice day.